Hey guys, Mike from Fire and Brilliance, and today's episode we're going to be talking about the economy, about inflation, and how it relates to the jewelry you choose to buy. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to it. Obviously it helps out the algorithm, but more importantly, it shows that you support us here at Fire and Brilliance and for what we do. Alright guys, so today's topic is about the economy, inflation, higher interest rates, and potential recession in the US and maybe even around the globe, and how that relates to your purchasing decision if it comes to gems and jewelry. Yes, in today's world, many people actually have waited for after COVID to get married. Many people actually waited until after COVID to travel, to propose, to get engaged. Many people waited until after COVID to celebrate their anniversary. And guess what? Now that COVID is somewhat, or majority of it is actually behind us, and we're moving forward, we're actually hit with an economic event. And yes, that's exactly what I'm breaking down. How that relates to you, how that relates to your purchasing decision when it comes to gems and jewelry, and with the economic news today. So we're going to talk about the economy, about higher interest rates, about a looming recession, and how that relates to you. Okay, so now more than ever, consumers are even more price sensitive, which has resorted for them to purchase Moissanite and lab-grown diamonds, not just for their beauty, but especially for the price. Okay, so first and foremost, we want to disclose that we're not financial advisors. We're not giving you any kind of financial advice. We're actually just a jewelry company on YouTube, providing you with educational pieces, and these are just our opinions, as well as some of the discussions that we have with our own clients here at Fire and Brilliance. Okay, so that said, let's break down the definition of inflation. What is inflation? Per Google's definition of inflation, a general increase in prices and fall in the purchasing value of money. So basically, to keep it simple, what inflation really means is the fall of a currency and the devaluation of a currency. So in other words, let's just say if yesterday you were able to buy a gallon of milk for $3, and today you're able to still buy that same gallon of milk for $4, then that's inflation. It does not necessarily mean the gallon of milk, the price has gone up, even though that's what it sounds like. What it actually means is that the value of your currency has gone down, because the gallon of milk is still the same. The only difference now is that you're paying more of your currency for that same gallon of milk. So therefore, inflation by definition is the fall of a currency, the devaluation of a currency, rather than the increased price of a product. Okay, so if that is the definition of inflation, what the Fed or the US considers a healthy inflationary period year over year is about 2 to 3%. Okay, we are in a situation here in the United States, and there's a lot of other countries around the world that's also experiencing inflation at the moment. But here in the United States, just last month in May, the report came out that our inflation numbers have gone close to above 8%, close to 9%. Now that is actually considering their calculations. I know that many of you at home are probably experiencing inflation way higher than 8%, because gas just last year felt as if it was about $2.50 per gallon, and now this year, or even $3.50 per gallon last year, and now this year is going anywhere between, depending on where you live in the United States, anywhere between $4.50 to $8 per gallon. So it seems like it's a lot more than 8%. However, they basically measure it based on a specific calculation. They're calling it 8%. But many people I know that at home and your friends and neighbors might experience something that's a lot more. So how do we get here? How do we get in a situation where there's so much inflation? Well, part of the reason is because in the last decade or so, the Fed has been printing a lot of money. There's been a lot of bailouts. There's been a lot of situations where the government has been printing, or the Fed rather, has been printing a lot of cash. And when there's an influx of cash into the system, then more people will have more cash on hand. So if more people have more cash on hand and they're competing for the limited supply of products, then the products will be inflated. So for example, let's just say if person A and person B are both going to buy the same gallon of milk, and there's only 1 gallon of milk, and person A has $5, person B has $10, right? And so if person A is willing to pay $2, but person B is willing to pay $3, then the the seller is going to sell it to person B for $3. But let's just say person C came in and wanted to pay $5, then that seller is going to sell it to person C for $5. So as you can see, even though everyone has money, there's only a limited amount of products, then the more that people are willing to pay, there's more money into the system, the inflation will be there. And that's pretty much what has happened through all of the printing the last couple of years. Now, the way that the Fed is actually encountering this situation right now is that they are going to increase interest rates. And what does that basically mean? All that means in simple terms is that if you increase interest rate, it will cost more money to borrow. And if it costs more money to borrow, then more companies and individuals, organizations and institutions will be more reluctant to purchase or to borrow rather at a higher interest rate. And if less people are willing to borrow, then there'll be less money into the system. There's less money into the system, meaning they'll take money out of the system, and hopefully that will reduce the rate of inflation here in the United States, right? So that's the idea. But with that being said, if the issue now is that the Fed is increasing interest rates to fight inflation, but they're also battling with the fact that if they increase it too much, there won't be enough money to the system, which will create a recession and a downward spiral. So if it creates a recession, then that will create less jobs, more layoffs, the economy will go down south, there'll be less money in the system, people will not only have to deal with high inflation, less income, and potentially no income at all. So that's exactly what we're dealing with. As of right now, there are already big companies, branded companies that are already laying off, such as Tesla, such as Robinhood, such as Coinbase, and such as Netflix. They're already laying off, and that's only a few of the companies that are laying off people because they are expecting a potential recession in the future. So in this situation, why am I talking about this? Why does this matter? Well, it matters because the average person, the average Joe or Jane that is trying to get married in the near future, post-COVID, now they have to deal with this, right? So they have to think about now more than ever, make a budget-conscious decision, a financially responsible decision on how they should make their purchases so that they can continue to move on with their lives, with their partners, right? So it's extremely important that we do talk about this. As of right now, and it might be you or it might be people that you know, people are debating whether or not they should pay their utility bill versus a gas bill, or their gas bill versus their water bill, or their water bill versus their groceries bill, right? So it's a very normal thing that the average American is actually dealing with right now. And then on top of that, if you're trying to get married, that's another expense that people actually have to think about. So then what does this mean to you? Are you in a situation where you have waited for COVID to end? Now it's post-COVID and you have to deal with these financial situations and you have to actually wait for these economic outlook that may be a little bleak. What do you do, right? So we do get these questions from time to time, and here's what we say, and this is what people are currently deciding on as to what they decide to do. Many people that were originally opting to purchase a natural diamond are now more than ever willing to purchase a lab-grown diamond or a moissanite. Many people that were originally wanting a natural sapphire, blue sapphire, or a natural red ruby are now opting to purchase a lab-grown ruby or a lab-grown blue sapphire. And the reason being is not because they do not want the natural, but because they finally realize that now they actually shop for something that is within the budget. They realize that there is no sacrifice in the quality and as well as in the actual gemstone in itself, because a lab grown is the same thing as a natural. The only difference between the two is one is mined and one is created in a lab. And the difference between a natural high quality gemstone such as diamonds, sapphires, rubies, or emeralds versus the lab grown version of itself is a lot, right? So we're talking about a fraction of the price. What are the options when it comes to jewelry? So let's just say, for example, we're going to compare a natural diamond, lab-grown diamond, and a moissanite on a solitaire ring, right? So for a 1 carat colorless VS Plus clarity, a GI certified natural diamond on a hypothetically 14K yellow gold ring is going to cost you anywhere between about $8,000 to $12,000 depending on where you buy it. Whereas a lab-grown diamond of the same quality quality, let's just say it's a 1 carat round brilliant cut, colorless, VS quality, also certified, set on a 14K yellow gold solitaire ring will cost you anywhere between $2,000 to $3,000 on the average. Whereas the equivalent, if we're comparing apples to apples, of all the same quality when it comes to a Moissanite on the same solitaire ring may only cost you under $1,000. So you can see the huge difference. It's a multiple of about 10 or more when you are purchasing a Moissanite to a lab-grown diamond to a natural diamond on a ring. So if you are in a situation where you are debating whether or not you should go with a Moissanite lab-grown diamond or a natural diamond, then now more than ever you should consider when it comes to the price points of jewelry, because especially if you're trying to make sure that you are good in the economic outlook in the future where it looks quite bleak, right? So if you haven't actually watched the previous episode that we listed last week, where I broke down why people choose Moissanite and lab-grown diamond in the year of 2022, I do break down the 4 main reasons why people do choose Moissanite and lab-grown diamond. But in today's episode, it's actually going to just focus primarily, obviously, if you guys have been watching, is primarily focusing just on the price, because now more than ever is it important for people to actually decide this on the price. Because guess what? If you are going to propose and if you are going to get married, the jewelry cost is only one of the costs. You got to think about the venue. You got to think about the party, the food, the drinks, the alcohol, if you have any, the outfits, the attire, if you're traveling, if you are going to have a destination wedding, and then on top of that, after the wedding, your life with your partner, the responsibility that you want to have with your partner, the kids that you want to have with your partner. So these are things that normal, everyday people do have to think about, and especially in today's world where we're dealing with inflationary pressures, with a bleak economic outlook and all those things, it's more important than ever that people do decide on a budget-conscious option when it comes to jewelry. So at the end of the day, again, we are just providing you with the information that people do ask about on a daily basis. We are providing you with educational pieces. We do not make decisions. At the end of the day, it's up to you. We provide you with information for you to decide for yourself. Are you one of those people that are going to purchase a Moissanite piece of jewelry, a lab-grown jewelry, or a natural diamond piece of jewelry in today's economic outlook? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. What is it that you decide to do and why? And we may feature you in the next episode. All right, guys, so let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. I mean, are you one of those people that actually follow up with economic news, financial news, and those type of things? Are you in the market right now looking for jewelry? Are you trying to get engaged, about to get married, need a wedding band, about to purchase an anniversary gift, but at the same time debating whether or not you should because of all of the economic outlook in the near future? Let us know if you like the content. Again, if you've been following our channel for a long time, and even if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel, not only because it helps out the algorithm, but it more importantly shows that you support us here at Fire and Brilliance. Follow us on Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, TikTok, as well as here on YouTube, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.